Hi, Algebra 1. So this is a whole nother packet to help you study for this test. We really want you to do well on this test. So remember, you can write the quadratic formula. That is fantastic. So x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And have that memorized. This is going to look very similar to your test. It's actually going to be multiple choice. It says the number under the radical is called the radicand. So something underneath there is called the radicand. Simplify this radical expression. So I'm going to multiply both numbers inside. That's going to give me root 16. What's root 16? What's the square root of 16? Yeah, it's 4. Then we're going to continue with these. I'm going to grab a calculator. So again, we're going to multiply underneath. We multiply the 6 and the 15 because they're both underneath the radical. So 6 times 15 is 90, so I get root 90. And then we're going to break this down. So remember, perfect squares are up on the board, so make sure you look at them. So this is going to break down to 9 times 10. Square root of 9 is 3, so I get 3 root 10, which is answer A. Okay, the 5 outside is going to stay there. I'm going to multiply underneath, so the 10 times 2 is 20. I can break root 20 down into 4 times 5, which is going to give me 2 root 5. But remember that 5 outside and that 2 is outside, multiply them together. So that's going to give me 10 root 5 for an answer. Simplify this radical. We have the negative 2 out there, so we're going to multiply the 15 and the 5. And so 15 times 5 is 75. Now I want to break root 75 down, which it's going to be the 25 times 3, right? Because 25 is a perfect square. So I get 5 root 3. Well, remember that negative 2 out front, we're going to multiply those together, so that's going to result in an answer of negative 10 root 3. Okay, we want to fill in the blank. So what is half of 8? It's 4. What is 4 squared? That's 16. So a 16 goes in there, so you'd circle that answer. Factor this. Okay, so we can do it this quick way. We have x and x. What two numbers multiply to give me positive 4, add to give me negative 4? Well, they both have to be negative, and it's going to be 2 and 2. So I don't have x minus 2 and x minus 2, but I could say x minus 2 quantity squared, which is that. Because when you're multiplying two things together, identical things, it's just the square of it. We're going to factor this one, so we're going to put x and x. What two numbers multiply to give me positive 8, add to give me negative 9? Well, it's going to be negative 8 and negative 1. Negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8. Negative 8 plus negative 1 is negative 9. So looks like there's our answer right there. All right, so we have this together. We want to find the values of a, b, c. Well, it's not equal to 0, so make sure you go ahead and, let's change the order of it. So 5x squared comes first, plus x. Then I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides up here, and that's going to give me minus 10. So my a value is 5, my b value is 1, my c value is negative 10, and there it is. Now we want to solve this. So we can factor or complete the squares. Well, let's factor it. So I'm going to x and x. What two numbers multiply together to give me 24? Add together to give me 10. And that's going to be 4 and 6. And then set each of those equal to 0. So that's negative 4. X equals negative 6. Hey, do you think if you use the quadratic formula on that, I would know? Probably wouldn't. I'm just looking for your answer. Solve the quadratic formula. We want to solve this. So realize on this one, I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. So I'm going to get x squared equals 33 minus 8. What's 33 minus 8, guys? Yeah, it's 25. Root, don't forget the plus minus. So x equals plus or minus 5. There's our answer. We want to solve this one. It's not going to factor. So we can complete the square. Why don't we try that? So x squared plus 2x, leave a space, add 16 to both sides, bring it over, and then set up your parentheses. So x, this sign has to follow down. Half of 2 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1, so you're going to add 1 to both sides. So I get 17. Root, don't forget the plus minus. So I'm going to get x plus 1 equals plus or minus square root 17. Square root 17 will not break down. So let's go ahead and subtract 1 from that. So I'm going to get negative 1 plus or minus root 17. So make sure you watch your signs. So there's our answer. Number 14. Looks like we're going to use a quadratic formula on it. So my a value is 3, my b value is 8, my c value is negative 4. And we know that x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So let's start plugging things in. So I have x equals negative 8 plus or minus 8 squared. So 8 squared is 64, right? Minus 4 times a times c, which is negative 4. Oh, the negative 4 kind of went away. All right, so I have negative 8 plus or minus 64, because 8 squared. So I'm going to go negative 4 times 3, which is negative 12. Negative 12 times negative 4 is 48, so that's positive 48. And that's all going to be over 2 times 3, which is 2 times 3, which is 6. So 64 plus 48 gives me 112. So I'm going to get negative 8 plus or minus root 112 over 6. Let's break 112 down. So 112 divided by 112, looking for the biggest perfect square, 16 works. So root 112 is the same thing as 16 times 7. So that's 4 root 7. So I'm going to get negative 8 plus or minus 4 root 7 over 6. And I think I can reduce everything by 2. So that's going to be a 3. That's going to be a 2. That's going to be a 4. So I'm looking for negative 4 plus or minus 2 root 7 all over 3. Looks like that answer right there works. Solve the quadratic equation. This one could factor. What two numbers multiply together to give me negative 20, add together to give me negative 1? And it would be negative 5 and positive 4. We're solving them, so you set them equal to 0. So add 5 to both sides and subtract 4 from both sides. So positive 5 and negative 4. There's our answer. 16, we can go ahead and just start solving it. Divide both sides by 2, so that's going to give me 80. Root, and remember, don't forget the plus minus. X equals plus or minus. 80 is going to break down to 16 times 5. And 16 times 5, that's so I'm going to get 4 root 5 right there. So plus or minus 4 root 5, there's our answer. Number 17, we could probably factor this. What two numbers multiply together to give me 2, add to give me 3. All signs are positive. So plus 2 and plus 1, set them equal to 0. So subtract 2, subtract 1. So negative 2 and negative 1. There's our answer. This one, it says use a complete square. Okay, well, let's see that. X squared plus 4x. And if you get stuck on these, you can use the quadratic. Remember, we said the quadratic is your last thing to do. So I'm going to add 14 to both sides to get that. Set up your parentheses. Plus sign comes down. Half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So add 4 to both sides. So that's going to give me 18. Root, don't forget the plus minus. So I get x plus 2 equals 18 is going to break down to 9 times 2. So that's going to give me 3 root 2. Don't forget that plus minus. Subtract 2. And watch your signs, okay? So we're looking for negative 2 plus or minus 3 root 2. Happens to be the first one. Cool. Number 19, I'm going to add 5 to both sides first. So that's going to give me 149. I'm going to go divide each side by 3. Oops, did I do that right? If I add, you get to 149. Oh, okay. Let's see. What did I goof up on? If I divide each side by 3, that cancels. So I get x squared equals 149 over 3, which is not going to reduce. You know what? It doesn't look like we have a solution here, because I mean technically the answer is going to be x equals plus or minus square root 149 over 3, and I don't see any of those there, so I don't think we have a solution that's listed. Okay, that might have been a misprint, but hey, let's go with it. Solve using the quadratic formula for this. So a equals 9, b equals -4, c equals 8. We know that x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that's going to give me x equals -4 plus or minus square root -4 squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2a. So that's going to give me x equals 4 plus or minus 16 minus, let's see, 4 times 9 times -4 times 9 is -36. -36 times 8 gives me -288. So what's going to happen under here if we subtract? Is it positive or negative? It's negative. What does the answer have to be? Yeah, they should have had the word real in there, but that's a no real solution, okay? The top one is just because the answer wasn't there. It was like maybe a misprint. Maybe there should have been an X in front of 5. I just don't know. Last problem. Let's see if we can do it. So I know that A is equal to 4, B is equal to -2, C is equal to -5. We know that X is equal to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So x equals 2 plus or minus -2 squared is 4. -4 times 4 is -16. -16 times 5 is 80. All divided by 2 times 4, which is 8. All right, so it looks like I'm going to have root 84 underneath. Root 84 is going to break down to 4 times 21. So that's going to give me 2 root 21. So I'm going to get 2 plus or minus 2 root 21 over 8. Go ahead and reduce it. 2 goes in itself once, goes in once, goes in 4. So I'm going to get 1 plus or minus root 21 all over 4. 1 plus or minus, there we go, it's letter C. All right, hopefully this really helps you out for the test that's coming up, which is on Thursday. Remember, get that quadratic formula down, okay? Have a great day. Take care of one another.